Whether we're talking angels, demons, fairies, spirits, Bigfoot, or our imaginary friend as a child, we discredit these phenomenons, these feelings we experience, these non-factual, non-tangible, non-physical events. We discredit, we discard them so quickly, so easily, because the world has taught us to. Even though when we're small children, we really believe in this stuff.
I see dead people.
Magic is so easy to understand as a child. It's like, oh yeah, I feel that. That connects to me on a personal level. It connects to our spirit. Our spirit has knowledge and information of what magic is, the beyond, beyond the mundane physical reality. Since the dawn of time, we have had a depiction or a description of some sort of way of metaphysical realities coexisting with us in our dimension. So whether we're talking the serpent in the garden of Adam and Eve, or Enoch transcending to a dimension beyond the physical within scriptures, or jump to a whole nother religion, and we've got gods with elephant faces or multiple arms or multiple eyes, or go to the Egyptians in science, in archaeology, and they're gods with the freaking animal heads, or the Sphinx that guard the temples. You know what I'm saying? There's so much magic. We could literally take this to Bigfoot and fairies. Like, where do all of these ideas come from? Why do we just so quickly discredit them? Think of a hummingbird. How discreet is a hummingbird? I've always envisioned a hummingbird as like a horse for the fairies, right? In the fairy world, wherever they are hiding. What's so interesting to me is spirits. I was doing research a few years ago on the Anunnaki.
I am of the Anunnaki, interdimensional beings that visit the planet Earth every few thousand years.
The Anunnaki and their connection to the Egyptian culture and religious beliefs, along with the Aztec, like the Mayans.
We arrive at a time called Nibiru, when the barriers between our worlds grow weak.
And just kind of the ancient peoples that clearly were trying to connect to the stars, the heavens in some sort of way. We've always been so intrigued with the heavens and the stars and astrology and astronomy and the spiritual world.
The Anunnaki have a great history of helping humans, but we have no physical form and must inhabit animals.
We've always been so magnetically drawn to it. And we're lying to ourselves if we deny this truth. There's so many ancient mythological stories. Mythology is literally a story that was told before record was taken. So it doesn't necessarily mean myth, like fake. Mythology does not mean fake. Mythology means the stories that were told before record was taken. So it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of the mythologies that we know about, dragons, the Greek gods, all types of gods for that matter, and any type of folklore, any type of demons, we've got anime, right? Anime is so heavily saturated with energy and how to use it and how to use all types of magic to connect to the spiritual body within ourselves, along with like demons and dragons, right? What is this? Where does this magic come from? That's a lot of the Asian culture, dragons and that metaphysical place. And then you can go to the concept of fairies and unicorns, where are these ideas coming from? We didn't just sit around one day and fantasize about a world that's so beyond our means that we'll never obtain it. This is something we've experienced before. And it's not hard to believe that in science, we've just so far, we have just proven only the measurable. We are living on theories of great minds of our past. We're not actually living in facts of great minds of our past. So the theories of those minds are just as valid as the mythology that has been handed down to us from our ancestors. DNA, scientifically, DNA in our bodies flowing through our veins is a carrier of information. So basically, only understanding a small percentage of DNA and having 95% of it to be unknown, there's a clear indication that DNA carries information from way beyond what we can perceive at the time. Just like we only understand about 5% of our ocean, ocean connects to emotions, and we are all connected to all things. So follow me here. If we are water, we are literally made up of water. Science can also prove that. We're made up of water, and we want to know things. We want to have a knowing, an understanding of who we are, what we are, where we're going, what are spirits, what are demons, what are angels, what are these things? Yet we're sitting here scoffing, outcasting those who have the ability to understand, feel, sense beyond the physical realm. So here in science, currently in science, with the DNA is in the physical world understood as an information carrier. In the metaphysical world, the DNA is known to be the carrier of information from our ancestors, the link and chain to the metaphysical worlds. This could be so many dimensions. Our human minds are so small to what the capacity of knowledge actually is. So let's just expand a little bit beyond our minds here and take it to a place where there's ghosts, demons, angels, things of that nature. And something beyond the electromagnetic spectrum, something that we cannot measure or see yet, but we're heading in that direction. With technology, we're learning that there's a lot more going on around us than we can see with our eyes. But for some reason, before we had this technology, we could sense this information without the technology. So what's actually happening here? And the whole concept of demons and aliens and all this whole dark and light aspect, this duality of all things, the male, the female, the sun, the moon, the up for down, the left for right. I mean, there's literally an opposite to everything. Since the beginning of time, there's been this idea that information is what we're seeking. Like we literally want to know things. We want to have knowledge and information to move forward, to progress. Like, why are we so mind driven? You know, all these creatures in nature seem to be just chilling in their lives, trying to survive. They're constantly in a state of play and survive. Rest, play, survive. Rest, play, survive. Like, they're quite attuned to their natural being, right? But us humans, like, we have such a thirst for more. We want to go beyond just what's in front of us. We have this mind space that's so vastly different from our entire collective, you know, the space we share with all the other creatures. And for me, a few years ago when I was studying this stuff, I've always been intrigued. I've always been intrigued from psychology when I was really young, just the serial killer mind and going deep inside the psyche was so intriguing to me. Like, you wanted to kill people and chop them up and eat them. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to go into that space and like really like dissect that, like, what the hell, you know? And then walking around also kind of with a scientific mind, like really understanding, Well, this makes sense because you can measure it, and like understanding the archaeology behind everything that went down in Egypt and the pyramids and the Mayans. Like, what is going on? Like, they built these pyramids? Why did you build the pyramids? I want to know how and why did you build the pyramids? And then you dig into that and you find out some really interesting things, like the fact that they possibly had abilities and things beyond what we have today. The Baghdad battery, like what the heck is that? Like, so they had some type of super futuristic technology battery thing. And then also the size of the stones, also the paintings, the afterlife. There's so much knowledge of the afterlife. They had names for all the Anubis, and they've got Ra, and they've got Osiris and Isis, and all these beings that literally are just a almost reflection of what Christianity teaches, you know what I'm saying? In the more modern sense, with the whole Jesus and Mary, the Virgin, the Son, the Holy Trinity, right? These connections, like they're literally connections, they go together, but they're just being told differently. And it just so happens that there's some written record being taken. But then we can take it back to another time where there's stories passed down of the gods. When we get this story how Gaia, literally Earth, is a being that breathes. You know what I'm saying? A living being that mates with, I believe it's Uranus. So Uranus and Gaia, Earth, mate and have the freaking gods. So we got Zeus, we've got Hades and Aphrodite and Venus and blah, 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 blah. We got all these gods and goddesses in this storyline now. And just the stories that are told, and we just like, we really, really start dissecting this, right? And then we go to the Mayans, which is very archaeological, scientific, right? The Mayans had so much knowledge of astronomy and being able to understand mathematics and medicine, which clearly, with the evidence that we have today, clearly came from a higher source. They clearly had some sort of connection to a higher source, just like the ancient Egyptians and the stories of mythology and the stories of the theologians, which go through scriptures, all the Bibles, all the Torah, the Quran. Like, you go to any of these ancient texts and you're going to get the same knowledge and information. The Hermetic tablets, it's insane. It's insane, but it's also like amazing. And what I find to be so intriguing is, okay, you can research and, be entertained by this stuff, which is obviously cool, but you could also be like, well, how does this connect to my life? Because I have this problem. When I watch things or when I read things, I can really, really go there. Like, I'm not kidding. And when I go there, I can really understand how everything I'm watching and experiencing connects to my life. So whether I'm reading the Bible or watching a movie, a cartoon, an anime, I can really put myself in the main character's perspective and really understand the vast world going on. And to me, it's like walking around, watching things like that, or reading this knowledge, understanding this information. We can sit here and say, oh, that was cool. Close this book and let's move on to my mundane life. Or we can start to really, really see beyond the veil. We can start to understand beyond the human experience that they've placed in front of us inside of this matrix. We are clearly in some sort of matrix and some sort of reality where our mind, it's like whoever they are, they don't want our mind to expand in some sort of way. We are ensnared in a trap a mental trap. And we need to expand our consciousness beyond this, because through the stories, the Anunnaki have a story, which are aliens that are known to be connected to like the Mayans and a lot of other ancient things. It's like they have this story of two brothers, Enki and Enlil, and they basically had different ideas for humanity. One wanted to enslave, one wanted to, I really can't remember the other one. I think the other one was fond of humans for entertainment or something. And basically they altered our genetics with obviously the monkey, which is obviously a huge share of our DNA, and then also used some of their DNA. So basically the concept is we're part alien, part monkey. Splice. And then we're now human. And we now have this mind where we, instead of walking around like monkeys, we start walking upright and thinking and using tools and things. That's a theory, because if you also understand anything beyond the physical world, time doesn't exist. And time is an illusion per dimension. So let's say down here in Matrix world, 12,000 years could go by, but it could be like 3 weeks in Godland. So, or alien land, whatever you want to call it. And this perception really alters your mindset if you start to dig deep enough. Go down enough rabbit holes, you're going to just really see what I'm saying here. And the most intriguing factor here is no matter what part of the cosmos you come from, the earth, no matter what landmass you're on, or city or state or boundary or border you create for yourself, we all believe in the beyond, period. Obviously there's naysayers. Obviously there's people who have like an atheist mindset, or, a logical, physical only mindset. But for those that have a belief in God or aliens or whatever, something beyond this mundane reality, can really start to peel back the layers and see, like once you start peeling back the layers, you see that there's a lot more going on than they're telling us. There's a big reason why a lot of things got burnt in the past, or why there's 75 books left out of the Bible and 66 in the Bible. So you're telling me that book, that religion says is ultimate power, which quite literally has a lot of message, encoded messages in there. So I'm not dissing the Bible. I'm not dissing the Bible. I'm saying I don't agree with religion, organized religion. But in the 66 books, there's actually 75. So what's the whole story? You know what I'm saying? I've read into, let's say, the book of Thomas. There's this book of Thomas, and in the book of Thomas, there is a lot of information about Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, talking about the consciousness evolution of the spirit. So for the spirit being able to transcend beyond the illusions in front of them, right? And how we are consciousness and we are connected, and we have the ability to do what Jesus did. Not just Jesus, let me worship you, but you actually have the ability to become what he became, or in the story. But that book's left out. Any book that had anything to do with the metaphysical, super beyond, like if it had nothing to do with obey and believe in something outside of yourself, like to give your power away, they left it out. They don't want you to know your power. They don't want you to know how powerful you are. They don't want you to know that you need to know how to navigate the afterlife, that you need to know what spirits and aliens and demons and angels are affecting you, because that's absolutely happening. This is the thing I've noticed the most about these topics. We're humans, and when we're born, we're connected. We have the grace period, as described in scriptures, this period of time where we are protected in a sense. We have a potential to acquire enough knowledge and information to protect ourselves once the grace period expires, which seems to be when you have knowledge of good and evil, once you pass being naive. So that could be any age for any person. And I don't know how that goes for also contracts, because there's a lot about spiritual contracts that I really believe in. So let's say your mother does something where she makes a contract with a being beyond here, obviously, like a demon or something. She may contract your life in some sort of way because of the blood, because DNA information. So that's possible. But there is this sort of grace period that I'm noticing within us, that once you get beyond that and you're walking around in the world trying to just get a job and be a normal person and make money so you can pay for your squares and put gas in your car and food in your stomach without shooting yourself because you hate life, just trying to live life, right? We are so unaware of the realities beyond the physical. In my opinion, that is ever changing. We have spirits of all kinds that can come and affect us. They can tether to our energy. They can suck us dry. Spiritual vampires. So the dark energies can literally take our energy. And there's light energies that can help our energy, because just like here, everything's a reflection, and that's clear in society. That's clear. There's an opposite for everything. So in the next levels up, there must be a similar cycles playing out. There must be something just like here going on there. So with the good and the light, whatever you want to call them, the dark and the light, or the evil and the good, whatever you want to call them, the angels and the demons, there's something playing out up there. And to me, when you're walking around unaware of this, oh, you are walking prey, because you don't realize that when you wake up not even when you wake up, 24/7, when you're sleeping, when you're unconscious, you are possibly existing in multiple realities and being used by these beings, which is why you probably don't remember your dreams, in my opinion. Whole nother topic. But let's say just on your waking life, to keep it simple. When you wake up in the morning, every action and choice you make has a consequence. So when we are unaware that there's spirits, or whatever we want to call them, affecting us, we may make choices and actions based upon their desires and not our own. Perfect example. I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to do other drugs, whatever. I used to do all types of shit. And it wasn't me. My being, my inner child, who I am at the core, wanted nothing to do with cigarettes. My addiction wanted everything to do with them. My traumas and denial and everything wanted that cigarette. Whatever entities that were attached to me wanted everything to do with that cigarette. But me, wanted nothing to do with that cigarette. I didn't know it though. I didn't understand how to fight that battle, that demon. I didn't know how to get rid of it because it was so strong and so powerful. I gave my power away. I was given power. I gave myself power. I had power, and I gave it away the day I started smoking. And then slowly and slowly over time, whatever was attached to me, because obviously wherever they are, and this is for real, because I can also tell you, so shamans, let me show you how this connects. Cigarettes and tobacco, nicotine, it is connected to the spiritual world, because this can go for so many things, but let me just show you how this works. Shamans, which are conduits that transfer knowledge and information from the spiritual world to the human world. And they will take things like ayahuasca, medicinal plants like tobacco and shrooms, things like that, right? Connecting to shrooms. Look into that, like the stories that people tell, like they'll see serpents and snakes and all types of demons and angels and all types of things. And you'll be able to see beyond the physical and have visions and all types of things. But they have they've been doing this for thousands of years. I think records of shaman work, like voodoo also, and like those that have knowledge and information that us Westerners don't understand at all, they're quite aware that demons, spirits beyond the physical are quite attracted to tobacco. They love tobacco. There's something about it. And as an ex-tobacco nicotine smoker, I can understand that shit's pretty freaking great when you're, and it's like so intriguing to me because it's like we're in denial of this. It's like we're in amnesia more so. Not even denial, because there's so many layers that I've personally peeled back that it's like not even denial first. First is amnesia. Like, how did we even get here? How the hell did we get so far disconnected from this knowledge? For me, where I'm at right now, where I understand it right now, is the serpent. We got to take it back to the serpent, guys, because when I started studying scripture, I started with Revelations. I freaking read Revelations because that's where I was in my journey. My whole 3D reality was falling apart. My whole belief of just the physical world was crumbling. So I had to start in Revelations, which is the end of the Bible. Makes perfect sense. My world was shattering. My ego was, it was just going through this entire intense moment. So after really, really focusing too much on Revelations, I made it to Genesis. I started at the beginning. And if you study the beginning of creation as described in scripture, whatever scripture you want, really, because it's pretty universal. Yet, this is not the whole truth, but just a few basic key moments here. The serpent, everyone knows about the serpent. Everyone knows about Eve. Everyone knows that he beguiled her and deceived her and tricked her through the tree of the life of knowledge of good and evil. So for me, what I see, the vision I have, the perspective, the clear, just as clear as I can see this where I'm at, I can close my eyes and see the garden. I see the garden, I see the serpent, and I see what is being hidden from us. And if you take a shroom trip or drugs, you probably can see this too. And the garden, this is what happened. This is clearly what's going on. The serpent is what separates us. I wish I had my art. The serpent is what separates us from the knowledge of good and evil. There's some sort of separation from us, the physical perception of reality. The amnesia is connected to the serpent. The serpent is connected to knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom is connected to manipulation and etymology of words and spell casting. So basically, there's a spell casted over our minds, our perception of who, what, and when, and where we are. So whether we agree to this or not, I don't know that part, but I do know there is some sort of disconnection. And this serpent being, which we've connected in so many ways to dragons and demons and reptilians and all types of lizard beings. This deceiver, this really, really wise, this, whatever the being that's connected to reptiles, which is clearly not us. Look at us. We are freaking part monkey, part alien. If we want to be as honest as possible, we're clearly something different than the animal kingdom. So we're part alien, part beast, let's say. And then there's this serpent being, this snake reptile creature that's a lot different from us. That also is in there somewhere, because we have this reptile brain as well. We have this part of us. So is it like, is it that? Is it this? Is it, we're part ape, tiny bit, part alien, and then a tiny, just a little dash of reptile? Like, what is going on here? I don't know. But let's say the mind, because we have the physical brain, but then we have the mind, which is all that electricity and neurons and programmable space, this computer within our whatever. It's like, is this mind of ours being illusion? Is there an illusion around it? Like, is there something hiding? Are we being hid? Is the truth being hidden from our minds, from our perceptions? Because there's so much going on. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is such a big topic, and I can't obviously just go on and on and on and on. But if we start to realize that we're being lied to and deceived and start to question reality a little bit more, we can really see that there's a bigger truth going on. Instead of dismissing or discarding the concept of the metaphysical, of aliens, of demons, of fairies, instead of discarding this truth, this possibility, if we could have the imagination to believe, and just like we did as children, when we had that innocence and ability to accept. So one thing that really bothers me about reality is everything seems to want to, it's like attacking and fighting is the main theme of reality. So sports, like football, we're attacking each other, competing, and then you go to like fighting, like MMA or boxing or whatever, we're literally beating each other up to the pulp. We have all types of, I don't know, it's not entertaining to me. I don't really understand it at all. I don't understand fighting in it, and it's like we're under this spell. Like, I can see spirits when I'm at it, let's say a sporting event. Like, I can see them. I feel them. They're there. And they're over the whole game. Like, I don't know if there's multiple or one giant one, but they're there. Like, they're affecting everyone. Because we have lost our sense of common sense and our ability to really understand what's happening. And if you just pay closer attention and do a little research and let the doors of your mind start to open, you can really like walk into rooms that you didn't even know were there, but they've been there your whole life, available to you to explore. That's what we really are. We like adventure. We like to explore. We like to learn. We like to create. We are creators. We are manifestors, and we're not here to fight. That is the enemy in some sort of way. There's something keeping us from what we're really here to do. And it starts with the spells, the wisdom, the manipulation. We're being manipulated into being slaves, energetic slaves. I think physical slavery is almost nothing compared to mental slavery, because it's like, I almost feel like the mental slavery maybe was used to create the zoo that we live in, to help boost and quickly, because think of it this way. If I'm a spirit and I can see thousands or hundreds of years into the future like that, because our time perception is different where we are, I can convince a multitude of people to enslave another people, and then also convince the enslaved people to follow those people through worship. Like, worship me, I'll grace you, I'll give you this afterlife of whatever if you just follow your master. And then the masters really think it's okay to do what they were doing. And then all these people, all these slaves, build our world as we know it today. So rape, torture, murder, and enslavement created this ugly reality we have today. All these squares and boxes were created by that, to trap the circles that we really are. So our energy can't flow freely and create portals into better circumstances and situations. So it's not difficult for me to perceive that there's clearly spirits puppeting us. We're being deceived. We are being beguiled. We are Eve as a collective. It's not her. It wasn't one person like from whenever ago. It's all of us. The serpent is deceiving us in some sort of way. The spirits of that essence, that consciousness that clearly has nothing to do with us or has a small part to do with us, and we need to detach from it in some sort of way to get to a better situation energetically, spiritually. Doesn't matter race or religion. All that stuff's ridiculous. Race, religion, borders and separations and boundaries, all that's not truth. What's truth is discovering what the hell's going on. I think there's a lot of truth in enjoying life and living in this reality, because I would imagine this human experience is unique and worth living when it comes to, going to the beach and being able to experience an ocean, or watching the sunset, or having children, or getting married, or hanging out with friends, or creating something. Whatever, all these things are beautiful parts of life that we need to be grateful for. But we should not also give all of our energy away because of some squares and boxes. Like, we can't just, and when I say that, squares and boxes, I'm talking about, think of a piece of paper. It's a square box. You're signing your life away on all these contracts. You get paid on a paycheck. You go to work in a cubicle. You have windows, they're squares to look out into the circle, which is all of reality, the whole earth realm. Everything flows freely outside, but we have these square windows to look outside. You know what I'm saying? We're trapped in all these squares when really we're circles. We're not free because we're trapping our minds into squares. It's all an illusion. There's some so I'm sorry I'm going all over the place. I'm trying my best to stay on task. But I know how math is. Math is like absolute. Well, think about math works. There is pi, like circle, 3.14, right? There's infinity, which is like this, right? There's zero, which is like this. And then there's everything else. So 0 is like nothing and everything. Infinity is the same. It's like nothing and everything. And then also pi, or just numbers in general, the infinite numbers, is always a thing. And I would imagine it's not linear. Like if you imagine pi, however it really exists, I would more so imagine it like this. 3.14, whatever all those numbers are, and then it just spirals out like this until forever. Not like this, not like a flat line until distance. Like that wouldn't make any sense. So to me, what they've done with the squares is they've created a spell, a mathematical equation to trap us within this confinement. So we're in prison. This is our prison. Instead of us being a free spiral, instead of us being a circle, which is what we really are, they have ensnared us. The wise serpent that is manipulative and all-powerful has trapped our minds into a square. So instead of being who we really are, we're lost. That's what I have on that for today. And I really encourage you to look into any of the topics that I discussed here, because you will find so much knowledge, wisdom, information to help yourself, free yourself from the situation you're in. And also take everything I say with a grain of salt, because this is my own research and this is my own knowledge and information. So it's ever evolving. I'm constantly contradicting myself, which is so cool to me. I love being able to contradict myself, because if you think you know it all at one point, I hope you have the humility to laugh at yourself in 5 years because you didn't know what the hell you were talking about. That's what wisdom is. So it is what it is. Take it for however you want. But if you could help me out a little bit, like this video for me, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if there's anything you could add, or let me know about what I said today. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.